What's up, guys? Ace Pilot 10 here, and we're going to be working on if statements. So, if statements are awesome and really, really useful because you could basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. You could say if something is equal to something or if something is not equal to something, and then go on from there. So, if we have a variable up here, private int number num equals 5. Now, we're going to make a boolean to check if the number is greater than 2. So, if we made our public boolean is num greater than 2. Then we would check if num is greater than 2, return true. Else, return false. So basically what's going on here is in our boolean, we're checking if this variable is greater than 2. If it is, then we're just going to return true. We're going to say yes. Else, if it's not, if this does not pass this, if it's not greater than 2, oops, we go no, it's not. So now, if we would to go ahead and make our main method, create a new instance of the main class, and I don't think I got into this. I don't think I got into constructors. A constructor is a really convenient thing. Basically, the syntax is just the name of the class, so public main, and it looks just like a method. What this does is it gets called whenever the class is there's a new instance to the class. So that's a good way of kind of initializing it for whatever things you need to get set up. So if you went ahead in here and said system.out.println is the number greater than 2, and then we could just put is num greater than 2. So this will get called as soon as we create a new class. And up here we did that, new main. So if we go ahead and run this, it is, because 5 is greater than 2. Now if we have this as 1, went ahead and ran it, it'll say false. So now I'm thinking this kind of weird that it's saying false and true. We could just say yes or no. And to do that, we would need a if statement. So we could say if is num greater than 2. And what this means is it's checking if the boolean is true. Default, if you just call the method, it'll return true. So we're checking if the number is greater than 2. We'll say system.out.println the number is greater than 2. Now if it's not, we go out of this if statement and say else if is num greater than 2. Now if you remember from about 5 seconds ago, this checks if it default, if you just call the method, it'll return true. Now to check if it's false, we would put a little exclamation mark right before it. So this is checking if it's not greater than 2. We can say system.out.println the number is not greater than 2. And then if we run this, it should be not, because it's 1. Number is not greater than 2. If we make it 10, the number is greater than 2. So now, it's pretty easy. It should be a pretty short video, because there's, I mean, that's pretty much the basics. Also, you could check anything, not just like booleans. So if we went in our main method and said, and we made a string, private static. We're just making the static so we can access it from the main method, because you cannot, because the main method's static as well. Public static string message equals hello. It doesn't have to be just booleans. It could be anything. So in the main method, we could say if message dot equals hello system dot out dot println hello. So now it should say hello, because this message does equal hello. Now if we change it to hi, it actually shouldn't even say anything, because it's not printing anything out. So we could change it. We could say else system.out.println random letters. Bam. So that is pretty much how you use if statements, and you'll learn much more later on as you start getting into Spigot and Bukkit. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to sub, like, and leave a comment. See ya.